it's AI-driven growth is what it's called, but really at the heart of it, it's what tools can I give you to kind of give you back, time and in certain cases, money in your business. And that's what we're going to go into today. So 7 tools that I think I'm going to give you, and I have a feeling that some of you guys are going to be kind of mind blown over some of these tools, and I hope that that's the case. So first, let's talk about return on investment. Return on investment is the idea of people ask me all the time is, I'm spending money, what should I spend money on in my business? What is the right answer in terms of what I should be investing in or not investing in or whatever? And I'm going to show you how to spend very little money. Some of this does cost money, but it's very little money on how to get a better return. So the other thing is the time aspect of it. A lot of what we're going to be talking about is going to give you an idea about time and how to save it. And then a lot of times people talk to me about, all right, I'm going to hire a virtual assistant. If you implement a lot of what I'm about to speak about, you don't need a virtual assistant. You could do most of this by yourself. And I'm not saying that they don't serve other roles. Maybe they could do the stuff that I'm outlining and just improve your business even more. But quite frankly, this is how to take what a virtual assistant would normally do and do it yourself for an hour a month at home. Okay. Number one, the first tool that I want to suggest you look into. All of us sit in a lot of meetings, a lot of educational events, hint, hint. It's just kind of a natural part of being a realtor. You're always trying to learn, you're always trying to sharpen the sword. All of you hopefully go out on listing presentations. That's another normal part of, being, or buyer consultations in today's world. You kind of get a mixture of both. And then the third thing is every one of you probably spends a tremendous amount of time on the phone. And those are all natural parts of being in real estate. So there's a tool that I came across that I'm going to show you. By the way, the last thing is we probably all do to-do lists all the time. It's I got to figure these different things out. So the tool that I'm going to show you, I actually used this while Amy and Ben were talking. I don't know if you see this, but on the back of my phone has a magnet, and the magnet is attached to this particular thing, and it's called Plod. Has anybody ever seen Plod or knows what it is? Oh, you're going to love me. P-L-A-U-D. Plod. All right, I'm just going to put that back there. So I'm going to show you guys firsthand what it does, because I actually used it while Amy and Ben were doing their interview, and I'm going to share the results for that interview with all of you as part of a thank you for being here today. But basically, it's a professional AI note taker to maximize your productivity. Now, okay, taking notes is a great thing, but what else does it do? So first of all, here are 2 types of recordings. On the right side is on-site recording, which is what I did this morning, which it will literally record everything that went down in a particular conversation or a meeting or an educational event. It'll record the whole thing. The other side is phone call recording. So you attach it to your phone. It doesn't have to hear the voice on the phone. It actually records based off of the vibration of the phone. So as your phone is vibrating and speaking, the speaker is speaking and it's causing some slight vibration to your phone, it translates that into actual language. Really cool. By the way, nobody is safe for the rest of time. I just want you to know, everything that you've done from this point forward will be recorded. And I don't mean that right now. I just mean in this AI universe that we're in, you have to expect that you're being recorded. You have to. I'm not saying that you use this, in an unethical way in any way, shape, or form, but just realize that a product like this could record you while you're on the phone with somebody, and you would have no idea that you're being recorded. So you should tell people that they're being recorded. I'm not telling you to do anything wrong, but I just want you to know, that's the world we're in today. So you have to be very conscientious about that with everything you do, because you have to assume that what I'm doing could be seen by everyone. All right? It will take whatever the recording is and it will turn it into a transcript. And then you could put in the speaker's names. It'll identify who's speaking. It'll identify one speaker versus the next speaker. It understands the differences between the vocal inflections. And it will take that information and then you just label who the speakers are and go back and tell you exactly what it is. So now you have a full transcript of what the conversation was, if it's on a phone call, a full transcript of what the educational event was. You don't have to take a note ever again for the rest of your life with this product. It will also summarize everything and will highlight and break it into here are the key points. What it'll also do, which is really cool, is it'll give you all the calls to action. So if you were on a phone call with somebody and you said, I need you to do this, this, and this, or if you're in a coaching call, let's say, and you say hey, you need to focus on these 5 action items. It will outline those 5 action items and tell you exactly what you need to focus on moving forward. So you don't have to go through all of the transcript. You could just look at that one particular section and say, here are all the call to actions, and it will identify who's doing what in terms of the call to actions. It's called Plaude. You could go on plaude.ai. I get absolutely nothing from this, just to be clear. It's not I'm not pushing this product, but it does allow. I couldn't put it up for the crowd because it only allows up to 5 people that you could share it with at any given time, and then you have to regenerate a link. But if you're serious about actually doing this, and you send me an email, I could send you back a code that'll give you 10% off. So anybody who's interested in doing that, it does not break the bank. We're going to talk about pricing at the end, but this is a few $100s. It's nothing crazy. They also, I did not buy this, but they do have wearable technology. That's this. I think this is the Note and this is the Pen. The wearable technology, you could put it around, and wear it as a necklace. You could put it on your wrist. So if you wanted to have the ability to record at any given time and not have it attached to your phone, you could do that. I wanted the one to be able to record phone calls. And really for me, it's I flip a lot of houses. I do a lot of investments and stuff like that. I want to be able to speak to a contractor and outline, okay, what are you doing? What's the time frame in which you're doing it? What materials do I need to get you? What do I owe you in terms of a check, and when do I have to pay it? Have that conversation over the phone, and now all of a sudden I get all of it sent to me, and I know exactly what was said when, by what contractor, what products I need to get, all those different things. It just makes my life so much easier. It's not about trying to get people in a gotchas rather. It's more of just making my life more streamlined. And I have a lot of different avenues and different facets to my life, let's call it. I want to be able to kind of organize it all. So I'm sure I'm not very different than all of you. You have a conversation, you sit down with, a buyer, and I would say to that buyer, listen, part of, we're doing a buyer consultation. I'm just using this as an example. Part of what I do is I actually have a note taker that's going to record this conversation, because I just want to make sure that I get all of your needs down properly. And I'm very, conscientious about what it is that we're looking for, and this is going to help me in terms of my process. Nobody's going to argue with that. They all want great service. That's what they're looking for. So the truth is now you have every conversation you have with that buyer, and you could go back and say well, you wanted this, this, and this, and here's what I promised that I was going to send you. You don't have to think about it. It just does it for you. You could also set up automations related to it. So when you get the to-do list could, tap into your email, account if you wanted it to, and send an email that prompts those things, or sends it to your admin or your secretary or whatever it is that you have in your business. It will do all that for you. Really cool technology. Please.
When you get the transcripts and everything, do you put them in documents? Are you moving them into something?
You could do it. It gives you the question is what do you do with those transcripts? honestly, like sky's the limit. Like it does save them on the cloud. It does save them on your phone in an app that it provides you. It does allow you to send it to any type of email service, or it also has like every type of connection you can imagine with different software. You could throw it into your CRM. So you have like, hey, I just spoke to, so-and-so, it recorded this phone call, it puts it into the CRM. Every single documented, conversation you had with this person could be in your CRM waiting for you, so you know, hey, on this date, this is what we spoke about. I mean, again, you want to, if this is a note taker for me, this is not to like use in court, but like the reality is like, you should be still telling people like, hey, you're being recorded. Like that's the one thing that I would point out on this. It's super light. At 60 days, you could have it as charged if you're not using it. If you are using it, it's 30 hours of continuous like recording that you could record, not a problem. So I'm thinking like educational events. You go to a whatever, Amy was talking about Tom Ferry. You go to a Tom Ferry, conference, and you want to just like record all the speakers so you could go back and look in your notes. Done. Like it just makes life so much easier. All right, number 2, podcasts. Anybody in here do any podcasting? You got one? That's it? All right, so the thing about podcasting, a lot of people, I guess let me pose this to the crowd. Is anybody interested in doing a podcast that's not doing it? I see more hands, okay. My question to you is, for the people that are interested in doing it but not necessarily doing it yet, what would be something that would prevent you from actually taking that step? Like, why wouldn't you do it?
Time, or either
time?
Not having all the technology or the...
Time, not having the systems or technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Not thinking anyone's going to listen.
Not thinking anybody's going to listen. Okay. Content. Okay. So hopefully we're going to address all of those things in what I'm about to show you. So first of all, for podcast listener behavior, I thought this is cool for you guys to see. 68% of podcast listeners finish the episode. The average listen time is 22 to 28 minutes. 43% of monthly podcast listeners say they've made a purchase based off of the podcast, and they recommend the host. Listeners are 2 times more likely to follow or reach out to a brand that they hear on a podcast than a social post. So all these people, everybody in here probably uses social media in some sort. 2 times more likely to actually use you if you're on a podcast versus that on social media. Small business owners through podcasts podcast 2 times a month, average 13% lift in inbound leads. That's after 90 days, so it's not a tremendous amount of time. Companies using podcasts in their marketing funnel see an average of 16% increase in customer lifetime value. So they'll use you more over time if you have a podcast. Weekly podcast listeners in the US hit 100 million plus in 2024, which is 9% growth. So this is a population of people that is growing. And podcasts are now the second most consumed content format, just below video. So a lot of times people are like, I'm not going to do a video. Well, podcast might be the next step. If if you believe you have a face for radio, maybe podcasting is the right answer for you. All right, so I want you guys to all take out your phone and just take this QR code. And while you're doing that, I'm going to walk and grab some water. So I'm going to walk you through this as you're taking a picture of this. This QR code is going to write you the prompt that you're going to drop into ChatGPT.
Me too.
What was that? Oh. You need access to it?
Here,
All right, I will fix this and send it to you. I tested these last night, and of course, something didn't work. I apologize for that. So I think what it is I used Google Drive to send it, and I must not have clicked on the right access, so I apologize. I will get this for you, I promise. But basically what it does is it writes the prompt for you, and then you drop this prompt into ChatGPT. You will get it by the end of today. All right, so once you drop that prompt into ChatGPT, I'm just going to walk you through what it looks like. So gonna read through this, but it says, I got it. I'm ready to generate 11 labs optimized. I'm gonna talk about 11 labs in a couple minutes. Optimized podcast scripts in your voice and style. To get started, I just need a few answers to 5 quick questions. What's the topic of the podcast? I answered understanding market trends in New Providence over time and in the past quarter. What is happening to price, the speed of the market, inventory, buyer demand, or any other fact that could be useful to a buyer, seller, or investor in today's New Providence market. So I'm doing this specifically for, I want to create a podcast for a marketplace. And that's why, that's the point of what I'm doing. Number 2, who's the audience? I believe it would be a mixture of home sellers, relocation clients, first-time home buyers. Ultimately, the goal is more listings locally. For number 3, how long should the episode be? 5-minute sessions would be perfect. For number 5, is there anything specific that should not be mentioned or assumed? Invite listeners to follow the podcast for market updates or book a strategy session with me to figure out their upcoming moves. I think I mixed up the actual order of those. So I'm basically just giving it very, very generic, instructions, like simple things. Doesn't take a lot of thought or anything like that. It says, here's your episode script, and it gives you exactly what the script is. Now, that script is great. You could literally, well, before I get to the great part of this script, let me say this. It's probably not great when you first get it. That's the truth of it. The first script that you get, my guess is not going to be up to the standard that you want. 1 second. I've been talking for 2-3 hours here, and I have not sipped water. All right. So the standard is probably not going to be what you need when you first put this in. You're going to read through it and you're going to say, this doesn't sound like me, this sounds like me, I want more information, whatever it is. ChatGPT, you talk to it like you would an assistant. So you're having a conversation with this thing and you're saying, please make it more entertaining and more specific in terms of actual facts. Because it was generic garbage when it first spit this thing out. And so, but it will give you a starting point. That prompt is a perfect starting point for what you need. So then it says, here's a livelier, fact-rich version that keeps your voice tight and engaging. And then it gives me another version. And I read through the other version, and I was like, you know what? There's not enough meat to this. I felt like, it's spoken well. Have you ever feel like you missed the start of the action? Here in New Providence, I was tracking this past quarter, and let me tell you, it's been a dynamic ride for buyers, sellers, and investors alike. First up, prices. And then it goes into that. Well, I read it and I was like, you know what? It's not good enough. It doesn't have enough meat. I'm like a stats guy. So what did I do? I went in and I said, please use this information to be more specific about the market and the local trends. And all I did was I went into the MLS and I downloaded a one-liner. It looks just like this. You have to do it as a CSV file, so it's just how you save it when you go into the MLS. But I downloaded a CSV file that had, certain stats in there. So it was street name, street address, street number, street name, original list price, sales price, days on market, rooms, bedrooms, baths, town, MLS number, closing date, status search, and tax amount. And I just pulled all statuses for that marketplace for the last year. I took that download, which again, you don't need me to teach you that. Go see your manager if you need. What was that? For the last year. Yeah, I pulled. So all you did is just all statuses. So I didn't go into old solds or anything like that. I went into actives for the last year. I went into under contracts for the last year, solds for the last year. Okay? So I pulled that data. I dropped that data into ChatGPT. I said, please use this information to be more specific about the market and the local trends. This is what happens. And now it pushes out something that says, you know what I love about numbers? They don't lie, especially when it comes to this market. So let's cut through the noise. Here's what actually happened in New Providence real estate the last quarter. And then it talks about how many homes actually sold. From April through June, we saw 9 homes close here locally. Not a huge number, but enough to spot some real trends. The median list price, $859. And then it continues on. So it's giving me a script that now I could use. And you guys said I don't have content. Yes, you do. Like, you guys have an unlimited amount of content called the MLS. Like, do this same script and dialogue for every town that you serve. Like, it's just endless the amount of content you have because it's all around you. You're in real estate. You have this data. Use the data to your advantage. So you take this, it creates this script. Please work. This is just an example of the actual script it created. Yes, it did? Great. So that's a copy of the script that it created. So if you want to see what it actually looks like, give you guys a minute. By the way, there are a ton of QR codes in this presentation. I'm just telling you right now, I did that because I wanted to show you examples and have them so you could take them with you. And I'm also going to send these slides out so you'll have access to these QR codes as well. All right. So now you could take that and you could record a podcast because now you have a script to work off of. Very simple. Every single person in here could create a podcast. Now, this eliminated the time concern that you guys had. For the most part, it eliminated the equipment concern because you could record a podcast on your cell phone. Like, you just sit there with your phone if you wanted to and you could record it fairly easily. What it did not solve for rather, are sometimes you just don't want to be the one saying it. Like, you're like, you know what? Like, I don't know, I have a sore throat today and I would love to record a podcast, but I sound like I'm sick. Like, or I'm on vacation. Like, I don't have a place where I could record this that's quiet enough. Or I just want to bang these out as quickly as possible. Like, I don't want to have to, what if I stutter when I'm reading? Or what if I don't have the right enthusiasm to what I'm saying? There's a lot of different reasons why people make excuses to not being able to do this. So let's talk about what that looks like, which is 11 Labs. Anybody ever heard of 11 Labs? You guys should have, because I talked about it at Growth Mastermind like 4 or 5 months ago. Joking, obviously. So 11 Labs is a program. It's something that you pay for. But 11 Labs, when I tell you it's cheap, I think it's like $12 a month. Like, it's not going to break the bank. What it allows you to do is do AI voice recordings. So you could do voice recordings in your voice. You could do them in somebody else's voice. Like, you could pick different voices and you choose what you want the voice to sound like. I do not know why you would do anybody's voice but your own. Like, personally, unless you want a narrator for a video, to me it's like I would 100% do your own voice. You have to use the paid version in order to get your own voice, which is why I'm telling you to pay the $12 or whatever it is a month. But once you do that, you go into this and you could click on podcast, or you could click onto text to speech. And you'll see that I just took exactly what ChatGPT gave me and I dropped it into the text to speech, category, the box that's there. I just dropped it exactly what I wanted to say. And then in that upper right-hand corner, it says create or clone a voice. So I click that, and you have to have, I think it's like for perfect, results, you want like 2 hours worth of recording that you've done one time. So yes, there is some upfront work to this. I will tell you, I did not do this the correct way. Because quite frankly, as I wanted to create it for this presentation and show it to you guys so you saw what it looks like. And what I mean by that is what I did was I just dropped in 3 recordings that I had that were previous meetings that I ran, similar to this, like think of these recordings. The reason why it's not the right way is there's background sound. So that's not the right way of doing a recording. If you wanted to authentically get your voice, you have to record, in a quiet space. You're supposed to have really the right equipment, to cover the microphone so it doesn't hear what is it, the piff sound or whatever it is. Like, ultimately, the better recordings that you have and the longer you have it, the more it's going to be able to capture the essence of your vocal inflections. That said, I recorded, I used what I had. It says your professional voice clone is being prepared, and it says it's ready to use, and this is what it sounds like.
About numbers, they don't lie, especially when it comes to this market. So let's cut through the noise. Here's what actually happened in New Providence real estate last quarter. From April through June, we saw 9 homes close here locally. Not a huge number, but enough to spot real trends.
I don't have to play the whole thing, sorry.
You know what I love about numbers? They don't lie.
All right, we're going to skip that because...
They don't lie.
You know what I know? Does it sound like me?
Sounds like a younger you.
Sounds like a version of me. Again, it wasn't perfect recordings, but I don't think if anybody was in here, if I just pressed play on that and I didn't have the buildup of 11 labs and all the stuff that I talked about, you would think it's me. 100%, you would think it's me. Like, that's not even good recordings. That's like background sound and all that other stuff. If you do it the right way, it's going to sound exactly like you. Some of you, I'm scaring the shit out of right now. I understand that. I completely get it. And I respect that. My wife absolutely hates artificial intelligence and thinks I'm insane to talk about any of this. But I will tell you, this is where the world is. This is what you need to be aware of. And, ultimately what we're trying to do is make sure that you stay ahead of the curve. So you could now make an infinite number of podcasts, or you could record an infinite amount of scripts that you write using your voice and drop them wherever you want to drop them. And it's done like this all day long. So you could pick whatever town you want. You could, ultimately, there's no shortage of content. There's no excuse in regards to, I don't have a place to record well, or, I don't have the time to do it. All you got to do is copy and paste the script. You could do this on your car ride home if you wanted to. It's the easiest thing in the world. That said, create more content because it works. It's proven that these things work. Number 4. All right, so we talked about 11 labs, which is great. But what do you do with this content once you have it all done? You could do Instagram. I'm going to give you different examples of how to use these voice recordings because I think that it's like anything else. You go out and you get professional pictures for a listing. Well, what do you do with the listing? Or what do you do with the pictures, rather? Where do you put them? This is the same thought process. I have recordings that I've recorded of my voice. Where do I take that file and where do I put it to give myself a return? All ROI is what we're talking about, right? So the first one is Instagram Reels or Stories. You could turn your audio into a short subtitled video using a tool like Headliner, CapCut, or Veed.io. I have not used all of those. I have used CapCut. It works very well. You just, so first of all, what you do is you add local B-roll or just a branded graphic with subtitles. You use captions like New Providence real estate update, June numbers are in. You post it a reel or a story for quick reach. So now you're taking the recording and you're putting it to use on social media. Very simple way of using your voice to make it sound personalized, even though it's just a clone of you. You can do this all day long. It's simple. Number 2, email newsletter audio clip. You embed the audio or link to a short version in your monthly email blast. The example would be headphones. Just dropped my 2-minute takeaway on what's happening in New Providence. Listen here. And then you just click the link and it'll bring them to that audio. Number 3, I love this idea. Love this idea. QR code on postcards or open house flyers. Create a QR code that links to the audio file or podcast episode. Use it on listing flyers, postcards, or even for sale signs. Tease it with scan for the latest market insights from Michael Pennisi. Think about this. Somebody can go on a postcard they receive and get a local market update in your voice. I mean, it's just like, it's one of the more powerful personalized things that you could do. You know, they get like so much more out of, you know, that content than they would by reading a postcard. And it takes you an extra, I don't know, 3 minutes. Like, how long does it take to create a QR code? It's simple. You just drag on Coldwell Banker, on CB Moves, or CB Desk rather, they have a QR code generator. So just drop in the link, pushes it out, you take the QR code, you drop it into your postcard, done. Now you're giving a market update, a real live market update to that person every single time they get a postcard from you. Anybody else think that that's awesome?
Yes, absolutely.
Please note, you need a public URL that plays the audio when someone clicks it. So here are the options on how to do that. Best option, SoundCloud. It's free, it's audio friendly, it's embeddable. You create an account on SoundCloud, you just drop in the audio, you take that link, that URL that's created from SoundCloud, and then you pull it into, you put it on a QR code, put the QR code on your, whatever it is that you're pushing out. Podbean, Anchor FM, Spotify for podcasters, that's if you're truly doing podcast hosting. Or just use Google Drive, Dropbox. Set it so anyone with the link can view, which obviously I screwed up a few minutes ago. But that's what happens if you don't set that up correctly. Bonus tips, you test before printing, which I should have done earlier. You scan the QR code on your phone to make sure it worked as expected. You brand the page if possible. If you're using SoundCloud, you could put your photo, a branded landing page. That's why you would probably use SoundCloud if you're going to do this. Keep it short. Under 3 minutes works best for QR linked content. Number 4, what about LinkedIn? LinkedIn is all about business, right? Isn't it an awesome thing to do is take LinkedIn and do audio updates about the market that you're dropping on LinkedIn? So somebody's just going on there and being like educated about the marketplace. Who is going to be their resource in real estate if they get their market updates that they could listen to in the car on their way to work on a regular basis? You become their resource like this. And by the way, what is it costing you? It's costing you $20 a month for ChatGPT if you decide to go to the higher plan, which everyone in here should think about. It costs you another $11, $12 a month for you to use 11 Labs. And now you have an unlimited amount of audio content that you could put out in a million different places. All you got to do is just tag it. Simple. Quick audio breakdown of Q2 real estate trends here in New Providence. If you're advising clients on timing a move, this is worth your 2 minutes. Tag local attorneys, accountants, mortgage professionals to widen your reach. It's a simple strategy. It's just like, it takes you no time to do. You just got to do it. Number 5, website audio embed, your market update. Add a section to your website or blog titled Latest Market Pulse. Embed the audio using a player like SoundCloud. Bonus, it improves the CEO with local keyword content and personalizes your voice online. These are just like, this is low-hanging fruit, easy stuff for you to do. Number 5, what about video? Who in here is doing video? I see more hands going up than podcasts. So for those of you who are doing video, or for those of you who are thinking about doing video, what's the hardest part about video? What's the challenge? What was that? Looking at yourself. Okay, that's a great answer. Editing and looking at yourself. Anything else that you feel like this is the reason I don't do video? I'll give you one. It's kind of hard to do video on a regular basis unless you're doing really like, if you're time blocking your time and you're doing it like, the first Monday of every month I do, I get a videographer and I change outfits and all that stuff. Because doing video daily, like in many cases, if you're in front of the video, is like you got to wake up and like look presentable. Like you have to record and be coordinated enough to say the content that you want to say, and you have to do it in a way that like sounds like intelligent. You know, you don't want to stutter. You don't want to like, you don't want to look like a robot. You want to come across in a certain way, and all that's hard. It's hard to master that. Amy was saying it that, it took her, 5-6 years before she like could like rattle it off like, in 20-second intervals. But like, not everybody's going to spend 5 years cultivating that skill set. Some of you want to be masters at it right now. Like, and you would love to be able to nail it right now. What's stopping you, we've just spoke about. There's a company called HeyGen. Anybody ever heard of HeyGen? HeyGen is another AI tool. Exactly what we just did with creating content, which, ChatGPT creates for you in 4 minutes. Or 4 seconds, I should say. And what 11 Labs does to create, your voiceovers in your voice, HeyGen does with video. So on HeyGen, you could go in and you could say, I want to create an avatar. And that avatar, it'll say, do you want hyper realistic? And you're going to say yes. And you're going to go on to hyper realistic. And then it's going to say to you, it's going to prompt you exactly what it needs from you. It needs submit 2 to 5 minutes of footage using a high resolution camera, record in a well-lit, quiet environment, look directly at the camera, pause between each sentence with your mouth closed. Use generic gestures. Don't be like, keep it like pretty generic in terms of how you speak. Keep your hands below your waist is the preference. And, want larger, distinct gestures, include them after 45 seconds to unlock gesture control. So it will tell you exactly how you do it. And by the way, for those of you who are like, well, that's a static video, like somebody sitting there. What if I want motion? Well, it will also do, it will also do motion. So you could record the exact same video with you walking down the street. So it doesn't have to be you stuck in a studio the whole time. It could be different variations of that. I'm going to go back for a second. So now, when you put all these things together, I will tell you, if you're going to do all of this, the way to do it is you want to do one professional videographer session. Like, that, Siobhan, raise your hand. Anybody who needs to get recorded professionally and wants that, that's the person to see. She's wonderful, comes here every month to record these sessions. But the truth is like, if you go out and you do a professional video of yourself that's in an environment that's conducive for what I'm talking about, like all professional lighting and everything else, you could go out, you could get your hair done. You could wear, the glowing outfit, get your makeup done, do whatever it is that you feel like you need to do to look your best self, get a tan, whatever it is, like to look your best self, and then record that video. Now, for the rest of time, that's what this system uses to create your avatar. And you could modify outfits, you could modify all these different things. It's not like just the same look and feel every time. But you can modify the backgrounds, you could change all sorts of things, but it will literally create you in video form. And now you take you in video form, the perfect version, because it's everything that you needed it to be professionally. And then you drop in the audio that sounds like you in 11 Labs, because it's your clone audio. And now you're creating video content by just grabbing whatever written information you want, putting it into 11 Labs, getting the audio that sounds just like you, taking that audio, dropping it into HeyGen, and creating a video that looks and feels just like you, and you never have to record a video for the rest of your life if you don't wish to. And you can have video content all day long, every day, 25 times a day. You could put it in a million different sources, and it's not that expensive. HeyGen, I think it's $25 a month. We're not talking about break the bank type prices. Scary, I get it. Some people are like, I don't want deep fakes of myself. But here's the thing, like, if you want to create video content, you're putting content of yourself out anyway. You still control this. It's just in a controlled environment in the sense that you have to, get all that stuff done once, not do it every 5 minutes. I did not do a deep fake of myself because I just didn't have the video content, done. But what I did was I chose one of their avatars because I wanted to show you what this looks like. It's going to be my voice. It's going to be this person speaking it. But the truth is it kind of gives you a glimpse of what this would be like if you were to do it for yourself.
First, they don't lie, especially when it comes to this market. So let's cut through the noise. Here's what actually happened in New Providence real estate last quarter. From April through June, we saw 9 homes close here locally. Not a huge number, but enough to spot real trends. Median list price, $859,000. Median sale price.
Does it feel fake? Think so?
That's a $100,000 gap in the seller's favor. And get this, after the market,
I'm going to tell you right now, on their website, by the way, how your mannerisms are and all that stuff are going to be you if you record you. But on their website, they actually show you real recordings and then AI video, and you have to guess which one was which. I got them all wrong. So I'm just telling you right now, like it's harder than you think when you start to look at what these things are. So that's Hey Jen. Number 6, some of you guys are like, absolutely no deep fakes. I will never record fake videos of myself. Not a problem at all. You don't have to do this, but it's something that you may want to consider. For those of you who are in the no deep fake category, maybe you do want to record videos. And that's okay. Amy was talking about before that she's kind of like mastered the art of it. Well, it's a lot harder to record videos that you don't have that you don't have a teleprompter for. But they sell very cheap teleprompters, and you could use a teleprompter to read off everything that you want to read. Now the problem that you have, and anybody who's read off a teleprompter on video, is a couple things. Like, one, your eyes tend to scan. So you're going left to right, left to right, left to right. And 2, depending on where your teleprompter is, not all of you have teleprompters that are built into your cameras like this. Like, most of you might be using some type of teleprompter that might be on an iPad or whatever it is, and you don't have the ability to look at the camera and look at, the teleprompter at the same time. So you still want to create video content. You don't want to do a deep fake, but you want it to look like you're staring at the camera and you're just off the cuff rather than reading off of a screen. Here's a tool for that. It's called Captions. Captions is an app that you can download. I want to say it's $200 for the year. It's not crazy expensive. Captions, there's one particular thing that I want to highlight with Captions. Apply eye contact. It will change where your eyes are looking. So it will, through AI, it will leave you exactly the way you are, but you could take the video and you could make it so the eyes are staring directly at the camera the whole time. Nice little trick. Captions also does a tremendous amount on the editing side. All sorts of different things in terms of editing, pictures and video. And it's probably the best editing software that exists right now if you're trying to create content for social media. Number 7. I have so many people that come to me and talk to me about newsletters. I want to create a newsletter. Why doesn't Coldwell Banker create newsletters for me? I see these other companies do newsletters and, all that stuff. We do have forms of newsletters. I don't think they're the best forms, if I'm being very honest with you. But nobody in here should have a problem creating content for a newsletter after you see what I'm about to show you. So, first of all, you're just going to open up ChatGPT. It's $20 a month for the paid version. I cannot stress how much I would pay for that $20 a month if you could afford to do so. It just opens your world to so many more things that it will do for you. So ChatGPT, you're going to open it up. This is the prompt. I would encourage you guys to take a picture of it. Just going to read it real quick. Act as a top-tier real estate as a top-tier analyst writing for a luxury brokerage. I want you to create a detailed, visually engaging, and conversational real estate market report for, you fill in the town name, New Jersey. Use a confident local expert tone. Include these sections. Number 1, summary of current market conditions, including days on market, median list and sale price, and supply and demand balance. Number 2, year over year and quarter over quarter trends. Number 3, buyer and seller insights. Who has the advantage? Question mark. Number 4, noteworthy shifts, inventory, new construction, interest rate effects, etc. Number 5, a closing statement with a CTA, with a call to action, to book a strategy session. Assume I'll use this in an email newsletter, Substack post, or as part of a monthly slide deck. Use headings and bullet points where appropriate. Make the tone confident, insightful, and useful for both sellers and investors. Format it clearly for easy copy paste into Canva. So you're basically like creating this whole prompt. And then what I did is I went into, in my case, it was the Garden State MLS, and I pulled New Jersey Realtor stats for New Providence. I'm just using this as the example. And I pulled, they have, every MLS has this, I believe. Like you could just pull these stats. They're prepared PDFs that New Jersey Realtors gives you access to. So I just pulled the stats. It does a lot with the year over year trends, which is the reason why I pulled this. So I dropped that in, and I pulled the exact same stats that I was talking to you about before with the one-liner into the MLS, and I dropped that, and now it has all of New Providence's market data for the past year. And it has year-over-year trends from the first report that I put into it. And then it comes back to me and it says, here's a final, visually structured and data-enhanced market report for New Providence. It integrates your latest MLS level closed sales data and is optimized for use in a newsletter, Substack, Canva slide, or listing presentation. And this is what it prepares for me. And I'm just going to go through the next 5 slides, or what it gave me back. So it gives me everything in terms of the data, year over year and quarter trends. It breaks all of that down. Buyer and seller advantage. The sellers still hold leverage. Homes are moving in under 10 days. List to sale ratios consistently are over 104%. Inventory remains tight, 1.6 months worth. But buyers are gaining ground. Inventory is building. It's up 55% year over year. List to sale ratio dropped 6.5% from peak. Closed sale volume is down, which could soften urgency in future months. It's telling me exactly what's going on in a particular marketplace. Noteworthy shifts, inventory's building, price versus value gap is narrowing, interest rate pressures, luxury segmentation. Your strategic move, let's talk timing. New Providence continues to outperform the broader market in both price resilience and buyer demand, but subtle metrics like declining list to sale ratios and increased inventory suggest that we may be entering a more balanced window, one that favors thoughtful pricing and decisive action. So it created a call to action. Why should you call me right now? Because the market might be changing. Let's have a conversation if you're a seller. It's created all of this in 10 seconds. You have all of this content to work off of very quickly. Let's tailor your next move. Whether you're looking to sell at peak demand, buy before the summer inventory levels are up, evaluate return on investment in New Providence. I'm happy to help you move with clarity and confidence. Reply, let's talk, to schedule a private strategy session. So it's basically telling you, here's how you prompt sellers to reach out to you. It created this whole entire market report in seconds. If you want to see a copy of what the market report looks like, QR code. So the question then is, you have this, what do you do with it?
You need access
Womp
again.
womp. All right, so I'll fix those. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, what do you do with this information? You have all this information, what do you do with it? Canva. Anybody use Canva? You probably see a lot of people's hands. So Canva, you take Canva and you open it up. It gives you a million different options in terms of newsletters that you could create. You could go into MailChimp, you could go into pretty much any, Constant Contact, you name it, any one of these softwares, Moxie, like any one of them you could use, and basically you take this data and you just fill in the blanks, just copy and paste. Say like, all right, like I want market stats for my New Providence crowd. Like if you have a CRM, Amy and Ben were talking about this before, if you have a CRM and people marked, here are all the New Providence sellers, wouldn't you want them to receive this? Do the exact same thing with Summit, same thing with Short Hills, with Berkeley Heights, all these different places. You could literally sit here and in one day, you could send like market-specific data to everybody in your CRM very quickly. You could also take that same data and put it out in Reels and put it out in recordings and put it out in whatever method suits you. You should never, ever, ever have a concern when it comes to content creation. It's infinite. I mean, and it's at the touch of a couple buttons on your screen. I mean, that's all day long, every day, this will create it for you, and then you just give it its own personal touch based on what you want tweaked. So my question to you, because I wanted to kind of keep this one a little bit shorter and sweeter, is, we started with this idea of return on investment. How much do you think I went through 7 different tools. If you were to max out all 7 tools, how much do you think that this investment would be in a year of your time, or a year of your money, rather? Any takers? $1,200? Okay, that's a good guess. What about the time that it would save you? Like, think about like trying to do this on your own. It's infinite. I don't know how much your time is worth. My time's valuable. I don't have time to be thinking about half of these things. The other thing is you don't have to be a wizard. Like, you said you're a brand new agent before. Like, welcome, by the way. Like, so if you're a brand new agent and like you don't have a skill set to analyze markets, like you don't need to. I mean, this creates it for you. If you're an agent that's been doing this forever, with all due respect, like I'm a stats guy, I can't create what they create as quickly as they could create it and as in-depth as they do. Like it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum of real estate, this is going to do it better than you. And it's going to do it faster, and it's going to help you. And it speaks to, I don't know if it was Amy or Ben spoke before, but like you cannot be afraid to ask for help. You can't be afraid to use the technology that's out today to give yourself an advantage. Because AI is not going to replace any of you. AI is not going to be the next real estate agent that's unlocking doors and negotiating deals. But AI will replace you in the form of other agents. The people in here that are using AI, that are using these tools, that are embracing it, they are going to lap you if you don't use these tools. Because it's just too fast, it's too easy, and it's literally infinite. The amount of information you could get and the quickness in which you could get it and the way that it gets delivered and your ability to take that information and then implement it in an infinite amount of ways on the front end, like the client-facing end. You got to embrace it. You just have to. Otherwise, slowly your business is going to decline. And then one day you're going to wake up and realize, like, I got replaced by people who just were willing to change and willing to grow. The world's different today than it was a year ago.
Mike, just one quick question. On that newsletter that you showed us first, did you cut and paste those pieces of information in Canva?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
what are the formats?
So it already pre-formats it for Canva.
Yes.
You pick the look and feel of what you want, and then you just copy it and drop it into Canva, and it's already pre-formatted for it. Yeah, it'll put it in for you. It's really simple to do. So here are the different tools that I talked about today. By the way, this is not a one-off. I'm going to talk about more and more of this stuff over time. Like this is like, kind of like a part 1 and more is coming. I'm not going to do this every session and just like drill away with all the stuff you could buy. But like to me, I feel like, once or twice a year at least, we're going to have to start talking about more and more of what what's out there that you could push your business forward using. And this is just one of many conversations we'll have about this. So all of these 6 tools together, if you not max them out because you don't need like full capacity on everything. Like there's I think it's a $200 a month version of ChatGPT. I don't need that right now. Like if I don't need that, you probably don't need that right now. Like, but there are, if you use like every function that I just presented to you today and you paid for that with these 6 things, it'll cost you $1,500, $1,600 a year for the year. It's cheaper than 1 month on Zillow. And by the way, that also includes the purchase of the actual hardware. So the purchase of the hardware, like this actual, the Plaud Note, the Plaud Note is a few $100s. So you're really in that $1,200 range, ding, 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 ding. For the year, $1,200 for the year? I mean, we're talking about $100 a month to like basically do what you would need to hire an army of people to do for you. I mean, there's no question that by the way, not everybody's going to invest in all of these things. I understand that. Some of these things you probably listen to and like cringe, like, oh, that's not what I would want. That's okay. But there are elements of this that every person in here will probably use or should use. And the thing is like if you pick and choose what makes sense for you and say, all right, I'm just going to take this segment. I'm just going to use, let's just say ChatGPT. I'm going to create my own content in terms of like, the recordings or, the visuals that I put together. But if you go in and use market data from ChatGPT and then put it out on LinkedIn or, Instagram or whatever it is, just that alone is going to give you an advantage that you would never have otherwise. Those are the type of things that like you really need to be thinking about and leaning in, because I could sit up here all day and talk about the X's and O's of real estate. But at the end of this, what it really comes down to is you got to get in front of more people as an expert. You got to get in front of more people with market data. You got to get in front of more people with them saying, wow, this is a resource. This person is a resource for me. That's what this is. It's just giving you, the tools to be that resource more prevalently. So the question for you is this. I started this session earlier. We're going to go full circle here. I said, what can you do to grow your business over the summer? Anybody have a better answer now that we went through all of this? It's rhetorical. We don't have to go through it. But my question is we're about to say thank you on this session for, and break until September. You have a lot of stuff that you can implement in your business. Whether it's thinking about partnership, and thank you to Amy and Ben, whether it's thinking about AI and how you could use it, whether it's digging into your CRM and building that out, there are a lot of things that you could do in the lull and the downside of the business. In between, you could do this while sitting on a beach, by the way, or in between your vacation time. Go out and do it. Come back in September and have like, hey, I do a podcast on a regular basis. Or, I, do regular market updates, audio-driven market updates that I put out to my consumers. Or, I used HeyGen to put out videos of, deep fake videos of myself that, people don't even know the difference on. Like, just implement some of these technologies and watch what happens to your business. If you get one rental deal from any of this all year, it pays for all of the tools that I just showed you for the entire year. And finally, the last thing is I'll go back to this Plaud. If you're sitting in sessions or on phone calls, taking copious notes, and if you're anything like me, you have like 1 million notebooks filled, and you can't find which notebook it was in. And like I went out and I bought Remarkable, if you've never seen it. Like I bought a Remarkable because I was like, I don't know where my notes are. Like I can't find this note, and I wanted to have searchability. With Plaud, you record the session, and then you could search it for the rest of time because the whole transcript is now searchable. So you just go in there, you say, hey, I wanted to know, Michael spoke at what is this place called? Growth Mastermind. Michael spoke at Growth Mastermind about an AI system for video search. And now all of a sudden you get all the notes of the whole transcript of what I talked about so you could go out and like actually implement. Pretty good way of thinking about this. I would highly suggest you guys start to buy these. That's all I got for today, but I do want to open it up to questions.